solidifies what I'm saying is the truth. They won't give you an inch, bro. They're that scared. You have no problem taking a risk. They can't. They have.
So this guy's complaining about women. Basically, he's trying to tell them that their brains are malfunctioning. That's why they ghost him.
An issue with it.
He doesn't stop to consider for a moment ever that maybe it's his really weird intensity.
It's because they know they're about to enter a position with a more powerful human being. They don't want to be around that.
Yeah, he's saying women are just intimidated by him.
And it's backwards. This is feminism. Women today want to feel like the more powerful, in control person.
They do, but
when you will never feel more powerful around the right man. And they block themselves from that. They're convinced today they don't like us because they made up stuff in their head. I shouldn't even say they don't like us. They're convinced they don't, but it's not the truth. If y'all just tried, y'all ain't even trying. Like, you get to first base and you just get tagged, you're out. You can't even make it to second base.
All right, I can't watch this guy anymore. I'm going to switch over to the Denmo video that I'm actually reacting to. Because, yeah, that previous guy, I've watched several of his videos. And he is just weird and intense and never really makes much of a point ever. He just kind of prattles on.
Oh. When Melvin was a baby, his dad dropped him on his head. Wham! Wham! Why did you do that?
This is Stop Being This Guy by the YouTuber Denmo. He makes a lot of dating content. And he's pretty funny and accurate with what he has to say.
Dad? Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Whoops, I was watching a...
You'd be in a... Gary, looks like everything lined up perfectly for you.
I accidentally skipped.
Cave somewhere.
Dad? Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Whoops, I was watching a Denmo video. Because of this, his brain got scrambled a little bit. He wasn't dumb. He just had a few screws loose. Melvin had a normal high school experience, hanging out with the other kids. But once he graduated, he became very lonely. When he was in school, all he had to do was show up and there would be girls there. But now that he's out of school, he doesn't know what to do. Years go by, and Melvin slowly morphs into a cockroach. He doesn't know how to meet girls. The only time he comes out from under the fridge is at nighttime. One night, he's in the store, and suddenly a mysterious man comes in the door. Oh shit! It's the socializer! The socializer walks in confidently, smiling like he just won the lottery. What's up, everybody? Wow, does this guy know everybody in the store? He looks over at Melvin, and Melvin scurries away. Hey, you with the Slurpee. Melvin turns around. Oh, fuck! This one's on me. He daps him up and then walks over to the counter. A sexy woman comes up behind him in line. Hey, I think I know your boyfriend. I don't have a boyfriend. Perfect. What's your name? And she instantly...
To clarify, I feel like Melvin's a reference to something, but as Denmo describes it, it's not exactly like an incel, but it's a just a guy who like wanks a lot.
Squirts! Clean up on aisle 5. The socializer chats her up as he leaves the store. Melvin stands there, blown away by what he has just seen. He goes home and beats his meat, imagining the socializer banging that big booty Judy. Oh, yeah! Melvin wants to be a socializer too, so he goes on YouTube and sees a video from a guy named Denmo.
Oh man, that intro was savage, bro. I swear. I don't know how many of you guys have like a really weird sense of humor like me, but I love being able to express the weird thoughts in my head creatively to entertain you. Now that that's over, we're gonna get to the education part of the video. Oh, damn it, Denmo. I just wanted to watch funny animations all day. Don't worry, bro. I'll entertain you, okay? Today, we're gonna be talking about how you need to stop being this guy. That's right. My voice got very high there. Let me say it again, more masculine. Stop being this guy. Stop it. Stop it, Melvin. Okay, so basically, as you can see in the image, this dude is in a dark room, sitting in front of a computer, bad posture, hunched over. That maybe is you right now, Melvin. And he's looking at a video of me approaching girls in real life. Look, bro, I get it. If you want to get good at talking to girls, naturally, you're going to watch a video of a guy showing you how to go and talk to girls. If you want to make money online, you're going to watch a video that teaches you how to make money. The point I'm making is a lot of you guys are just spending way too much time watching, but not doing anything. You have an issue, right? You want to get in good physical shape. So you go on YouTube and you search, best workouts to gain mass. But did you actually go to the gym? Probably not. And the other thing that happens is, you look up one video, you get motivated. You're like, all right, I'm going to lift some weights. You go there. The next day, you look in the mirror and your biceps aren't 3 times as big as they were.
All right, I think I see where he's going with this. Is that with this, I don't really count Denmo as part of the red pill community, but with a lot of this red pill stuff, like Fresh and Fit, the whatever podcast, and tons of other podcasts and content creators, they try to give guys dating advice, and you see the view counts on these videos, sometimes in the millions or tens of millions, hundreds of millions. Usually not hundreds of millions, but all these guys giving like usually crappy advice, but you'd think with all these viewers that guys would be able to, with that amount of viewers, that they wouldn't be able to sustain a fan base, right? Because if you just cut through the BS of, say, like Fresh and Fit, there's some okay advice. They're a little obsessed with money making, which I just made a video on where I live reacted to Amaranth. The audio was a little scuffed because I was adjusting it as I was going, and just my audio was lower than I realized. Because like my OBS sort of resets. But anyway, so these people are there giving advice to men, but the men never actually take the advice and put it into practice. They never actually go and start talking to women, which is the only way they can build confidence, right? Like I know these podcasts say that you like you should do all these other things to build confidence, get like a more established career, find yourself, which that will actually work. They say like hit the gym, all kinds of ridiculous stuff, when you should really cut out the middleman. And that's what I mean by sifting through the crap is, yeah, if you just go out and start talking to women, you're going to get way better at talking to women. And these guys must be never doing that. They probably delude themselves. They maybe ask out a woman once every 3 months. But like I've said it so many times on this channel, you need to ask out at least 300 women by the time you're age 25 as a man, or you're just not trying. You aren't trying. And maybe you're a guy who's into guys. Ask out 300. Or are you even trying? I did the math before on a video where I said, hey, there's probably like thousands of people in your area, in the county you live in. Thousands of eligible people, not like people in your age range that are single or single enough, right? Because a lot of people do these like quasi, like pseudo relationships, but they're out there. But so many of these guys clearly aren't trying, or these podcasts couldn't possibly sustain their fan base, right? Because I don't know what else you could get from like the Fresh and Fit podcast other than like there's some entertaining stuff. Like they're funny guys, but realistically, I couldn't imagine ever taking life advice from them ever. But if you were like a desperate guy who's like never been in a relationship, then there is some valid stuff in there. But once you should be able to find that and separate that from the rest of what they say pretty quickly. And then once you apply it, then boom, you've gotten a relationship or a hookup, whatever you're looking for, and you've developed a skill enough to where you don't need any more advice. You can go out and apply it and just keep getting better. And that's ultimately what I want for people. Is I want people to go out there and try. And trying alone is the most valuable thing. Trying and failing, oh my God. It will like guarantee that you get better. It's the only way. I can't say anything to you to make you better at talking to women. I can give you a little advice as to like how to maybe quickly make a personal connection, but that's not like a guarantee by any means. Like that's depends on the individual person and what they're into and what the vibe is, right? Like those are things that you have to pick up on. I can't explain to you each individual woman and what exactly to say. That's not how it works. And it's really not about what you say. There's no perfect words. There's no perfect timing. There's good timing, and that's important, but you don't have to be a full-fledged like comedian where you speak so interestingly and eloquently. Like think of Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, you watch him, he's entertaining to just watch. The way that he says things, the way he like moves around, his mannerisms. He's a naturally entertaining person. And there's tons of other entertainers that are like that, where you're just entertained looking at them. You don't have to be that. You don't have, that doesn't have to be one of the ways that you can make yourself interesting. So I can understand Denmo's frustration here is that he's been giving advice for like years and years, and he's suggesting that people who watch him finally step forward and take that advice.
They were yesterday. So you're like, what the hell? I watched the video how to get big biceps, and one day later my biceps still not so big. That's it. Back to the video games. Things take time. And most of you, you're impulsive. I'm impulsive too. I used to literally be one of those guys that was constantly watching videos online, searching for the perfect answer. And this is like a fallacy that we fall into. I want you to think about it this way. You and I are cavemen. We are monkeys. I know that you see some dude that looks like his life is completely figured out. He's got nice outfit, a suit. He's got a girl with some. He's driving a nice car, a watch. Guess what, dude? He still goes to the bathroom and takes a dump. Poo out of his ass. Think about the coolest guy in the world, and then think about him sitting on the toilet taking a shit. Or a girl, because it's a little bit less
It's true.
gay. All right, I don't want you to imagine Jason Statham or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with his dick and balls hanging and poo coming out of his butt. If anything, imagine some gorgeous woman, beautiful girl, but then taking a big poo-poo. Why are they taking poo-poos though? They have so much money. They're so good looking. They're in great physical shape. Everybody likes them, and they don't watch YouTube videos at all. Why are they taking a poo-poo out of their dirty little bum-bum? Because they're also a human. But are they a human, or are they an animal pretending to be human? That's what you and I are as well, bro.
I don't know if you could qualify Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as a human. I think he kind of transcends.
Okay, big fist bump. I genuinely believe that if you weren't raised by your parents or English speakers, you'd be in a cave somewhere with a couple other apes, okay? I know I would be. This is why people speak different languages. You go to France, people speak French, and you don't ever want to hang out with French people. You go to Africa, and you go to somewhere like, Nigeria. There's a language there. Same thing with Thailand or Russia or whatever. Whoever you're raised by, that's the language you learn. So if you go to Russia and you try to talk to somebody and they don't speak French, it's not like, whoa, why don't you speak French, bro? It's because they were raised by people that taught them Russian. Point I'm making is you were probably raised by somebody that didn't necessarily enforce strict guidelines for you. And because of this, you spent way too much time on the computer. You didn't go out and hang out with other people. And you are still a human where you don't know any better and you want to be around others. You want to experience intimacy, love, and validation. So what do? You find ways to feel like you're around others even though you aren't. And how do you do that? By going on social media. When you go on your phone, your brain lights up because you see pictures of a bunch of other people, all right? So my phone is on grayscale because I'm not a Melvin. If I go onto my phone here on Instagram, right? If I scroll through, look at this. Look at all these little heads. At any point, I just see all these little heads.
Does anyone do that? What's the point of that? Does it like save battery life? Like what is that doing? Is he like afraid of distracting? Of like it taking up too much of his time? Why would you go grayscale? I've never even heard of that. I didn't know you could do that.
and it feels like I'm now in a room with like 20.
I mean, I could see if you're colorblind, then yeah, maybe it like uses less power on your phone or something weird. I don't know.
20 or 30 other people. I scroll down,
Maybe
I just
it's
see
easier on the
photos
eyes.
of others. I mean, my algorithm is kind of funny, guys. It's like all just like motivational stuff and memes. But
You know that feeling of having to rewash dishes that didn't get cleaned?
I'll mute the ad. I mean, I'm not knocking him with his grayscale phone. I just have never heard of it. And I can't even think as to why it would be a thing. I'm not
well,
sure what he's getting
here's
at.
this dude I follow. It's him and somebody else. I feel like I'm hanging out with this guy and his chick now, okay? It tricks your brain into making you think you're not alone. You're hanging out with others. Guess who's actually living? Guess who's actually making money out of you being on your phone all the time? Not you, bro. The social media companies. They want you to spend as much time as possible watching videos like this, all right? So if you're watching this video, but it's the end of the day, you just did your work, tell us, okay? Go to the comment section below. Be like, all right, Denmo, I know I'm watching the video right now, but I just got off work, came back from the gym, now I'm eating dinner. Or I just spent an hour working on my business and now I'm watching the new Denmo video. Share your schedule. But I know that a lot of you watching are just watching videos on YouTube, not doing anything. You're just spending hours each day being this guy in the photo, looking at photos and videos of girls online. And the reason I say girls is because if you do a video where you're talking about money or exercise or meditation or something, not that many people are going to watch. If you put a video talking about a girl, or if it's you talking to a girl, everybody clicks. Millions of views every single time. Why? Because like I said before, you're a
I think it's because there's so much cringe pickup artist stuff. Really, like that guy Justin, or I mean, yeah, it's more important. I think what he's going to get at is that it's more practical to see it in practice, right? You're seeing somebody actually do it, and you get to see how it goes. And sometimes it's a hilarious disaster. Other times it's successful. And I think people steer away from it being successful because it's being boring. It's mundane. And I think some people on some level, they see that and it frustrates them because they have boring and mundane conversations and it doesn't result in them getting a woman's number or a date with a woman. And maybe on some level it also makes them feel that it's total BS, that it's fake. But I guarantee you that is how most interactions go. Unless you're just like insanely smooth, which that does happen, right? Most of the time that you're going to actually get a girl's number, it's because the conversation flows so perfectly and you're just on point, you're just really smooth. But that's not remotely required. And that probably doesn't even make up half of the time that you're successful. Because a lot of life just is mundane. And you can make jokes. And not be like smooth as could be. Again, look at comedians. Look at how funny a comedian or comedic actor can be with just a like dry sense of humor, with just like a dark joke, right? You don't have to be Mr. Smooth Talker every single time.
monkey. We're fucking cavemen. Ooga booga. Oh, booty. Oh, titties. Oh. Nobody wants to admit it, but we are completely obsessed with sex as a society, and we love looking at photos of women. Anyways, I went on a huge tangent here, but the point I was getting at with the caveman monkey ooga booga thing is that our brains have adapted to constantly seek dopamine. Imagine you're out in the wilderness, okay? Close your eyes. Oh. Ooga booga, ooga booga. Yep, there's other animals out there too. It's a gray/brown landscape. You're hungry, you're walking around. How often are you gonna see red? Not very often. How often are you even gonna see blue or sharp colors like neon green or pink? Very rare. Everything is like basic, bland green, gray. You got water that just looks like, you know, transparent. When you see something that's red, it stands out. Why would you see red? Well, it's like a fruit, right? Like a little berry or something, or it's blood. Okay, so red essentially instantly catches your attention. This is why people pay so much more attention to you if you wear red. And statistically speaking, girls actually find you more attractive if you're wearing red than if you're wearing a different color, because that color stands out because it's so red. means somebody's hurt or somebody's in danger, or like, you know, somebody's running around covered in blood, which means you got to get out of there. But also, if you see like a little red berry, that means you get sugar and calories, which means you get energy, which means you're going to survive. In the wild, we're trained to see all these little colors and instantly be like, oh, ooga booga, berries. And then we go and we get the berries. Same thing with meat, food, etc. And this is the body we're using right now. We are literally using old programming. We're like a million-year-old monkey machine. And then you get a computer in front of you and you see pictures of boobs and ass and you're like, oh my God, this is all I want to do. Because each time you look at it, your brain's like, it's totally natural, bro. But the thing I'm telling you to do is to consciously catch this. A good example a friend of mine made to me once is like, when you're driving and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off or drives in front of your car, instantly you react. Like within a split second, you swerve so that you don't crash your car. If somebody puts like a bag of potato chips in front of you, instead of grabbing them and like, get the fuck out of here, you're just like, oh, potato chips. Oh. Or like when your stepsister comes over and you're like, stepsister, stop. Why are you stuck under the sink again? Oh. We don't have that same sense of urgency to immediately get out of this place. We kind of like let it slowly grow on us like a tumor. If there's an immediate danger situation, we know that.
Yeah, that's totally how people are. And that's always kind of blown my mind because I've just always in my life been a person of action where if I want something, I'm going to go for it. If I want something that's difficult and takes time, I'm going to go for it. If I want things to be different, I'm going to advocate for that. I'm going to say that that's how it should be. And there's been times in my life where I've been like less motivated or like there are times in your life where you totally lack that motivation where like nothing seems worthwhile, but that's kind of like a different issue as well, but it ties in. I guess it's the same issue
we instantly have to get out of there, fight or flight or react. So that's the analogy I was getting at with like driving. You guys watching this video right now, maybe you think I'm funny, maybe you actually want help, but the reason I made this video is because I just want you to fix your own problem so that you can start fixing other people's problems.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because I tell people this in my videos that mastering the approach, just approaching women is the first step, right? Like you shouldn't be getting this hung up on the very first step. There's so many other steps. So many other stuff you're going to have to focus on. You start thinking about if you even truly want a relationship, what it's going to be like, what you're going to do once you have a relationship. There's so many factors at play and people just can't get past the first step when it's actually that they should be thinking about the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. And then the first step will come more easy, right? Because it kind of takes all of the pressure off of the very first step, is if you're more concerned about the relationship, what you want out of getting this person's number, what you're going to do with their number, what you're going to do once it starts reaching, maybe you don't get a number right away, or it's somebody that you work with or whatever, or you go to school with, and it starts getting flirtatious. Well, how are you you need a plan. How are you going to build that? If you want to date this person or whatever, how are you going to build it to where you're together, where you're doing what you want? Like you have to kind of, it's what I say, a warm open, right? Why are you not planning your warm open, and why is your warm open being a disaster? And a warm open, it's just a longer open. Instead of cold opening a woman you don't know at all, a warm open is somebody you're like friends with or acquaintances or coworkers, somebody that you've like been able to build a rapport with. So you've built all this like warmth and comfort that's mutual. And so that gives you like a totally different approach, style, and opportunity. And when Denmo here talks about that like reflex, that immediate action, it should feel like, yeah, a like a fight or flight response. And you need to make sure your response isn't always flight. Now, referring to approaching people as fight is a little weird, you know, but don't get hung up on that. You're you need to be like, it needs to be a reflex, right? Because so many times, say you're walking through the grocery store, beautiful woman passes you by. Why are you not asking her out? Maybe later on you think back and you're like, wow, I should have asked that woman out. And then going forward, this has happened to so many guys like 1,000 times, and women too. Um, you pass by a good looking person and you're like, oh, nice. And then you think, oh man, I should have like asked that person out. And then from that day forward, you never see that person again in your life. You know what I mean? So you you totally missed your opportunity, and you'll never get that opportunity again. Right? And you've had this happen to you so many times. The cycle repeats itself, and you never do anything to change that cycle. But you expect it to change on its own. Like, that's the definition of insanity, is you keep doing the same thing but expecting a different result. And that same thing that you're doing is never asking anybody out, never pursuing a woman, never putting yourself out there, taking the risk of rejection. You need to be rejected basically 100+ times. You know what I mean? Like, you literally have to. It's how it works. I'm sorry, but that's how it works. It's maybe for you, it's not easy. You hate rejection. It sucks. It doesn't feel good to anybody. But after like the 10th time, it should feel like basically nothing. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel great. Maybe it feels a little bad. But that level of it feeling bad, it should really only feel bad the first like 5 times you get turned down. And you're like, oh, that sucks. Right? And if it's somebody that you're doing a warm open to, somebody you've known for a while and built a heck of an attraction to, that's going to hurt a lot more than just some rando. But what are your standards? What do you want out of somebody you date? Because I find that a lot of guys would date a lot of women, right? And all the statistics bear that out, that men are way more attracted to women, men typically are willing to give a chance to date easily like 75% of women, just flat out. So it's almost like men don't even care. As long as you're like decent looking, like, that sounds shallow and that sounds bad. And a woman could be even bad looking, but like, men are willing to give it a shot. Absolutely, they are. But so many times they see that good looking person and they do nothing. And then they do that 100 times, and you should start to realize, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe when I'm doing that and then I never see that person again in my life, that if I continue to do that, then I'm going to miss out again and again and again and again and again. Because that's what's happening, and you're just not doing anything to change that. You know what I mean? Because it's not like, if anything, it's going to make a woman's day. If you ask her out, it just is. Like, women will sometimes say otherwise, and you could do it in an annoying way, but just don't ask them out in an annoying way. It literally 5 seconds. It could be 5 seconds. It could be like, hey, you're looking really good. Like, can I get your Instagram? Can I get your number? Like, wow, that is a really nice, like, you got really beautiful eyes. Just like, it can be cheesy and dumb, but as long as it's quick and convenient, and you just take the rejection and leave, then it won't hurt at all. It shouldn't hurt at all. It should mean nothing, right? Because you already know, we've already established that you're most likely never going to see this person again in your entire life. That person's never going to see you in their entire life, right? There's no stakes to it. It's meaningless to get rejected. But there's a chance that you don't get rejected, right? The more you get rejected, the less likely you are to get rejected, because you take the pressure off. The stakes are gone. There shouldn't be any stakes in a cold open. With somebody you don't know, there's nothing at stake, and there shouldn't be. And the other person should be able to pick up on that vibe that, like, hey, this doesn't mean all that much to this person that's asking me out. They just see that I look good and they want to go out with me, right? And then you can build a connection later. And then when you're on that first date, you get to learn about them. You get to see if you have things in common and if you're compatible. But initiating it, asking somebody out, it should be kind of blind, right? Like, there's this show on Netflix, Love is Blind. Stupidest show ever. Literally, they separate these people so they can't see each other. And these people, like, talk to each other on the phone. First thing that these people ask, like, this is why the premise is so dumb. First thing that they ask is, like, they describe their own personal, their physical appearance to the other person, which is so dumb, because that completely eliminates the premise of the show, because you're just describing yourself. Like, yeah, maybe you have a different look to you than you've described a little bit, and maybe the other person is not into it, but realistically, they're like, oh, I'm 6'3" and I got 6-pack abs. Like, it's obnoxious and dumb and destroys the own premise of the show.
As much as I like the money I'm making from you watching these videos, as much as I like the money I make from solving your problems when it comes to dating, and if you do want your dating problem solved, you can join my Socializer School community, where I teach you how to get a girlfriend in 30 to 60 days. I have thousands of videos of me approaching girls in real life, broken out step by step. I have multiple courses, and you can ask me questions every single week on my live Q&A. And if you don't think it'll work to you, just listen to the hundreds of stories of guys that I've helped get amazing dating results on my website. You can check that out in the description below. Until you solve this problem, you are going to be stuck behind the wheel of a car that's moving without you being in control. And that car is your sex drive. You are constantly paying attention to things, girls on Instagram, girls on YouTube, videos like this, and some of the other videos on my channel. But are you actually getting girls, or are you just looking at them? Your brain has been hijacked by your old caveman monkey brain.
I mean, yeah, I'll just talk about what I was talking about before. So this love is blind. Once you go on a date, like, let's talk about the real world here. You go on a date with a woman. That's when you get to know her. That's when you build the connection. That should be kind of your... This is a really bad pause on Denmo. He's like mid-blink. He looks very stoned. But that connection... Like, a lot of these guys, these, like, turbo desperate guys, they hold so much weight behind this arbitrary connection. They, like, oh, we're both into the same rock music. And it's like, that's completely meaningless. Once you go on a date and actually are truly getting to know the person, then you'll find out how that person feels about, like, 100 different things that you might be into. Having one thing in common doesn't make you compatible. So I think that's how a lot of these guys get attached to women who they barely know so severely, is they assign all this personality to the woman that they're obsessed with. And you can't do that. Like, there's no benefit to you to do that. Stop doing that. And consider this. Consider how much women you are actually attracted to, right? Instead of using how much more men are attracted to women than women are attracted to men, instead of using that as an excuse to never ask out women, it should actually be the reason that you ask out women, right? Because think about it for a moment. what does that really imply? That should really tell you more about yourself than anything, and your standards more than anything, right? Because most men, the huge, insanely huge majority of men, they're probably would go out with like literally 75% of women. Just flat out, right? So that should tell you a little bit about yourself and which women you should be approaching and which women you shouldn't, right? Because if you're willing to go out with like 97% of women, that probably includes some women that are already in a relationship, right? I know a lot of guys flat out say, I don't give a crap. I'll hook up with a woman who's in a relationship. Or guys are just interested in hooking up, and tons of women are interested in hooking up, and tons of women would go out on a date with a guy who's in a relationship as well. Like, don't get hung up on the expectations of gender, the fairness, the balance. Just use this information to give you the ability to reflect and analyze your own biases, your own what you're looking for, right? And if what you're looking for is 3/4 of all women, now maybe 3/4 is a bit much, but let's say 50%. That's more fair. 50% of all women. How much women do you walk by? And you go to a busy grocery store. How much women are you walking by that are in that 50% range, right? Probably a lot. Think about it. So that's a lot of women that you just pass by on a regular basis that are women who you would go on a date with, women who you would ask out. So, if you're constantly passing by a ton of women who you could be asking out, why aren't you asking them out? Right? And even within that range, that 50% range, there's going to be some very specifics that you're into. Ones that you're like, all right, I would go out with all of these like good looking women for sure. And I'd figure things out on a date. Like I would build an attraction with them. Great. That's awesome. But for some reason, a lot of people, they don't connect the dots there. They don't say, hey, I'm attracted to a ton of women. There's women everywhere. I constantly have opportunities to ask out women. Why am I not asking them out all the time? I wonder why that is. And then you should like reflect on yourself and be like, well, there's a reason. And a lot of guys would use the reason that, oh, I just have really high standards. I'll only date like this woman has this wrong about her, so she's out of the question. And it's usually like really arbitrary things and obvious total excuses, right? So use information to your advantage. What Denmo's talking about across this whole video is people will listen to his advice and then never apply it to their actual life. They'll never do anything about it. And that's that goes way beyond just like dating advice and simple life advice. There's all kinds of avenues where people just don't ever do anything.
And thinking that, ooh, this is good. We want this. That's why you're so horny all the time, because your body wants to reproduce. But life is set up now where your life is so easy that one, you live in a spot that's cheap enough that you could just go on the internet a couple hours a day. Two, you live with your parents. Or three, this is a crippling problem that's literally taking control of your life. And this is why there's so many guys that struggle with like nofap or addictions to stuff. They are just so controlled by their monkey brain that they can't help but be a guy on YouTube just watching videos. And I don't want to just shame you for watching YouTube videos, bro. Obviously, these videos help you. But what I mean is, like, if you go on Instagram, most people are posting constantly. They post the food they eat, the place they're at, the music they're listening to. They go on their phone on average like 50 to 120 times per day. Their screen time is usually 4 to 5 hours per day. Again, bro, just go and check your screen time right now and tell me what it is. Because I know for a fact the average screen time for somebody that's between the age of 15 to 30 is 3 to 4 hours per day. That's crazy, bro. Let me go to the screen time quick. Yeah, screen time today, 20 minutes. All right. And it's 3 3 in the afternoon or whatever. So I've only been on my phone just a little bit. But most people, because they're so lonely deep down inside, they are constantly living their life by watching other people live. So this video isn't even just about getting girls. It's about watching other people do cool stuff. You like watching YouTube videos, right? I only watch YouTube videos nowadays to learn. And then
I think that must be why like Andrew Tate has such a large fan base. Is a lot of these people, I could see if you're like a teenager, right? And you like the idea of a guy being like saying whatever he wants, keeping it real, getting tons of women. You like that idea, and you could maybe like see yourself in the future being like that. But a lot of these people won't. A lot of these like adult fans, like it's embarrassing to be an adult fan of Andrew Tate, and not see the like obsessive weirdness of Andrew Tate and the kind of ultimate like sadness of, I mean, it's a grift, right? Like he probably doesn't actually even interact with all that many women. He probably doesn't care to. He probably doesn't care, like he probably isn't as, maybe he's not even as obsessed with money as he seems to be. He probably is, considering how much he goes out of his way to tell people to be obsessed with it entirely. But like on some level, it's like, is he even really that obsessed with money, or just did he just see like, oh, if I tell people they need to do these impossible tasks and they need to keep paying me money for these like courses for these things that aren't even actually achievable for them, they'll have to keep paying me money because they're not achieving what I'm telling them to achieve, these impossible tasks. The reason that they're not accomplishing them is that they're not just giving me enough money. They're not taking enough of these courses, and they're not taking enough of these courses seriously. It's kind of like the opposite of what Denmo's saying here, and the opposite of what I'm saying. Whereas like I want people to genuinely be happier and get better at dating, because dating's a nightmare. Like even without, I think everyone being better at dating is better for everyone. It builds like a better culture. Think about the times on social media where you've seen like men or women complaining that like all, it's more so women doing this, complaining about these things, that like, oh, all men are cheaters. Now granted, I understand completely and I agree that most of the people who would post such a thing, it's because they're a cheater. It's because they're disloyal. They bring that vibe just as much to that relationship, that like untrustworthy. They got like 20 guys in their DMs that they're, you know, basically in a online relationship with, and they're hanging out with guys. They're probably actively cheating as well as the person who's cheating on them, for sure. Guaranteed. No question. Yes, you're correct. But these that actually matters. Like, I'll just continue the video. I kind of lost my train of thought
and
there.
I like
Very
to live
tight.
in real life. Instead of watching somebody do cool stuff, I want to do cool stuff. And yeah, maybe you could watch a cool video and then be like, okay, I'm going to do that now. But the majority
Yeah, like Andrew Tate is just the total grift. Like, it's not real. This isn't what this person truly thinks. They're just trying to get money out of you. They don't actually want you to succeed and get better, because then you wouldn't need them, right? Whereas other content creators like Denmo, like Courtney Ryan, they want you to not need their advice anymore. They want you to just take it and grow and learn. And that's a long enough process. Like, I'm sure they want you to still watch their content and then use it to help other people, like Denmo said. But that's yeah, that's exactly what it is.
majority of young people, our day is mostly watching other people do cool stuff while our life is not cool. And in comparison, you're looking at all this cool stuff on social media or YouTube, and then you work like a basic job on a construction site or a Dollarama or something, which is super boring. So it makes you feel even worse about your life because you're not doing the same cool stuff you see every day. As much as it's hard to break this cycle of watching content online all the time, I think it is necessary for you to evolve to the next version of yourself. Because even though we are monkeys, even though we're cavemen, we're running on old programming, we can adapt to new environments so fast. So even though you spend several hours per day on your phone, you can delete the apps on your phone, set your phone and computer to grayscale so that it doesn't look as stimulating. You can go online and search a gym you can join or a new class or a hobby. You can text your friends to hang out with you. You can buy a book, think of a way to make a career change to do something you enjoy more. You can free up your time. And
a lot of what people enjoy more are like jobs they can do at home or that they can do on their phone. I don't know. I always feel weird about that because I don't understand how so many people spend so much time on their phone and it's genuinely a detriment to their life. Like, it obviously is, and it must affect quite a few people because so many people talk about it, but I've just never experienced that. And I'm on my phone a lot, but like, I don't know, it's just never, I don't know what it is that traps people in so much. It's like weird, it's weirdly isolating for a lot of people, and I don't understand how. Because, and I've talked about this in videos where I'll say it, I feel like I say this in like every video on this kind of topic, is my statement of, if you're a man, you need to ask out 300 women face to face by the time you're 25. If you're in a country that has internet, or like, you know, like reliable, decent internet that you can actually have access to on a consistent basis. Probably every country has internet to some extent, but the availability of it changes. But you should be also, now depending on your area, maybe you live like really remote. You live in some remote small town and there's nothing really around it. But as long as you live in like a reasonable, regular county, you should be asking out. Also, by the time you're 25, you should also be asking out 1,000 women online. Because I would count like 5 swipes as one asking out, right? On a dating app. 5 swipes, equivalent of asking one person out. Whereas like one full asking somebody out would be on like a dating app where you actually like have to type out a message first. Like one where it's more than just swiping, like on what is that, Hinge? Where you start by typing out a message, right? That's asking somebody out. And you can also ask out tons of people outside of dating apps, right? Like I've had way more success asking people out like on non-dating apps online than I ever have on dating apps. Not to like an enormous degree, but of the people that I've just asked out online, I would say a third was on dating apps. A third was people just on like social media that I have already like have known. And I'm talking about times where I've asked people out and it resulted in a date, or just a date of some kind, or hanging out, hooking up, or something like that. Easily, like, so 1/3 dating apps, 1/3 of those successes are people where I'm just talking to them on social media, but I know them from like some other place. We've already met in person, sort of situation. And then another third is people that I haven't even met, that I've never met in person. So you really have no excuse if you have access to the internet to not have asked out 1,000 women by the time you're 25, unless you've been in a relationship that whole time. And this is important. Like I say this in so many videos. I've said exactly that, but it's literally one of the most critical things I'm ever going to say, because you need to apply that to your real life. If you're a person who's really desperate to like get a date and like start a relationship, you have to consider these things. You have to consider what's normal and what's not. And you have to try to adjust to things being normal. Like, I have no issue with people not being normal. I would describe myself as very not normal. And it's fine to operate outside of the normal, but there are dating norms that you need to care about, because you need to care about the comfort of the other person, the person you're going on a date with. Because why would you ever want to go on a date with somebody and have them be uncomfortable? You know what I mean? Like, you need to, even before the date, the asking out, the approaching, all of that, how you ask them out, you need to care about that and how that makes them feel.
And then reassign that time to you. Instead of consuming or doing dumb stuff like playing video games and watching others live, you can start living as well. That is what I want you to do. Stop being this guy, the guy that just watches and doesn't actually do anything himself. Now look, bro, I know it can be very hard being lonely, not having friends around you, and you feel like your friends all do stuff that you don't want to do. Like, they just want to play video games. They just want to drink every weekend. It's very hard for you because like you want to hang out with them, but you also want to level up in life, and they're not really on self-improvement. They aren't like you. They don't want to start an online business. They don't want to travel. They're kind of happy how they are, or maybe they're not even happy. They're just pretending they are. And you know you're different. I made a community for guys like you because I felt this way too. I was alone and I didn't have any other friends that are on self-improvement. So I made a group, and everybody in there is constantly helping each other. We're all working towards the same goals, getting in good physical shape, making money. And we post wins every day, and it's totally free. So you can join that for free as well if you are interested in that. In the meantime, bro, I know you love watching my videos, and I love that you watch my videos too. I love you leaving comments. I genuinely only care about you. I have a couple of close friends in my life, a couple of close family members. Besides that, all I care about is you watching right now. This is my job. This is my purpose, helping you and entertaining you, with that funny fucking intro to this video. Even if it means not watching me anymore so that you can live and stop living through your screen, then do it, bro. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. And then you can come back when you're ready and you're doing better. Stop being this guy, man. You don't need to be this guy. You got this, bro. I believe in you. I'll see you later.
Yeah, the guy.
Get 2 times the decongestant with Tylenol sinus pressure and pain. Tylenol. Take
this guy.
I'm not talking about the sexual stuff either, making it to second, third, or hit a home run and you hit it out of the... I'm not talking about that. We're talking stages right now. Like, y'all can't even do this shit no more. It's all a game. Y'all can't even just come together no more. Like, it's ridiculous. When I was in high school, bro, I was picking...
He's telling women that they can't even, like, handle a normal, regular conversation. Like, what are you talking about? He says that even when a woman encounters, like, a decent guy, she just doesn't know how to act, doesn't know how to talk. What do you mean? Like, how have you never experienced... I feel like this guy just never talks to women other than the occasional... once every month, really incredibly creepy and weird asking them out and gets rejected. And just in his delusional mind, he thinks he's like this incredible man, and he just isn't at all. Because it sounds like he's never had a positive response to interacting with a woman. Women know how to talk, right? Like, they can hold a conversation really like disturbingly bizarre that this guy thinks that they can't. Because how would you never have, like, accidentally, through just the pure charisma, charm, and intelligence of a woman, had a very positive response? You know what I mean? Like, for example, there's been times where I am getting to know some woman, and she completely carries the conversation, right? Like, say you're just not in like the mood or whatever, you're not feeling well for whatever reason, maybe you're focused on working on schoolwork or something, and the woman's just risen you up. Like, she just, boom, she's flirting with you openly, right? And making it a very fun situation to be in, because she's just carrying anything. And yeah, I can carry a long, lengthy, interesting, fun conversation. I have thousands of times. You know, you just do that every day. You talk to people, right? But there's times you're just not feeling it, or there's times where you just have zero riz. Like, it happens, you know. You make a joke, it doesn't land. But how has he not experienced this? He must just never interact with women at all. Because it seems impossible to me. Completely impossible that you wouldn't have that experience where the woman's just into you immediately. You don't even know why. And she's just, boom, she's just carrying the conversation. She's being funny, talking about interesting stuff. Just, I can't understand the lifestyle of somebody who hasn't experienced that.
Picking up girls that I was talking to when I was like 17 years old, and that girl was like 16. We were going, like, bro, our faces weren't stuck in our phones. We weren't dealing with many options. We're texting each other on.
How old is this guy? Like, seriously, he looks pretty young. Like, he looks like 24, I would say. I put him at 24. So absolutely, when he was 17, you're talking like 7 years ago. People weren't, like, teenagers weren't in their cell phones 7 years ago. Like, what's changed in that 7 years? Like, yeah, now there's TikTok. Pretty much everything else was around and popular 7 years ago. And every teenager had a cell phone 7 years ago. Yeah, it's probably gotten worse, for sure. But I feel like the way that it's gotten worse is amongst, like, young people, where they've been glued to that phone since they're, like, even earlier. So what's he really complaining about here, right? Because I feel like it depends on each individual person as to how glued to their phone they are, but I feel like he's talking about people who are significantly younger than himself, in which case, like, why is it such a big deal to him? He should be going people around his own age who will be like a reasonable or like a proportional amount of glued to their phone than he is, and people like his friends, if he has friends, would be.
Text. I'm picking her up. We're going to a beach together. We go bridge jumping together. We're talking the whole time, listening to a tune, just having a good time. This shit almost don't even exist no more.
I think what he's missing here is that those situations where he dated people, I get the impression that he's only dated a couple people ever, and probably all very short. Like, yeah, what he doesn't understand is that whoever he dated as a teenager was probably, they weren't experienced enough to realize how much of a weird creep this guy is. And he's definitely become more of a weird creep as he's become red-pilled. Like, I'm making assumptions about him, but it would make a lot of sense that he got a lot creepier since he became red-pilled and obsessed with this stuff. So that girl that he dated when he was a teenager, she didn't know better. She didn't realize how much of a just bizarre weirdo this guy was. Even him being less of a weirdo at that time, right? I'm sorry, but who is he talking about? Who in the world is he talking about? I see people, I see teenagers out on dates. You know, you just go to the mall or wherever, or a restaurant. There'll be like teenagers around on occasion, you know? You see them out and about and they're not glued to their phone. If someone's glued to their phone, and this guy's got like wine in this cabinet behind him. Is he at his parents' house? Like, how old is this guy? Because I feel like he's talking about like 18-year-olds, but he's got wine behind him and like these liquor bottles and like wine glasses. This guy has to be living in his parents' house. That has to be what this is. Nothing else makes any sense here. So maybe he should do some reflection and... But yeah, it's weird that the only possible conclusion in his mind to his experiences becoming worse and worse with women, that it couldn't possibly have anything to do with him. And it's all to do with women being more glued to their phones. Really weird.
Because women are brainwashed. They're hurt for no reason. They're brainwashed for no reason. They don't like us for no reason. It's backward.
You're boring, dude. Like, if a woman's hanging out with you and she's just like glued to her phone, it's because she's bored out of her mind, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, I get it from the way he talks and the things he chooses to talk about. I'm sure he's one of the most boring people you could possibly ever hang out with. So it makes a lot of sense that these women would be totally glued to their phone and not paying attention to him. He doesn't have anything interesting to say. Like, sorry, not sorry. Why are you like that? Get a personality. Be normal. Like, why? It's like he can't analyze situations that he's been in and situations that other people are in. So I'm sure if you talk to this guy about anything, he wouldn't really have much to say. He never has anything to say in these videos. He never has any point to make. Like, oh, women are glued to their phones and they're incapable of talking. That's really weird, man, and that's not true.
Bro, y'all's minds is dumb. Y'all believe the wrong shit.
Y'all minds is dumb. Y'all minds is dumb. Wow. Who watches this guy? This guy, Joel Junior. I mean, he's got more views on this video than I have on any of my videos, but my goodness, dude. He's got 77.7k subscribers. I think they have to be, like, watching for the same reasons I'll click on this guy's video. Is because it is a train wreck. This person is incredibly deep in delusion, but let's keep going. Let's see how weird this gets. Every one of his videos.
It ain't what you think. You're brainwashed. I hope you know it. And I hope you know it deeply. You're brainwashed.
This guy has to be
Absolutely
Canadian.
You are.
He has to be Canadian. Just like Denmo mentioned Dollarama. I think that might be an exclusively Canadian store. I think this guy has to also be Canadian. You can kind of hear it in him.
Some of you are blocking the best shit that could ever happen to you.
What? The best thing that could ever happen to women is them. The best thing that could happen to women is them dating this guy who's so boring to women that they would rather pay attention to their phone than to him. I'm going to tell you, dude, I've been on plenty of dates with plenty of women. They typically are never glued to their phone. Like, never this happens. Once you're like months into dating and you're hanging out and you're spending all day together, then yeah, some of the times, only some of the times, like maybe a woman will be like glued to her phone for like an hour here or there. They're shopping, they're looking at like memes, stuff like that, but it's not that frequently, dude. I've just never encountered it. Like the dates I go on, women are engaged, they're interested, they're asking me questions. They're wanting to get to know me, and they're very much appreciating and engaged as I'm asking them questions. I'm getting to know them. I'm making them laugh. Weird. What, like, this? I wish this guy was able to have a deep conversation about, like, anything, because I want to know, like, has anybody interviewed this guy? Because what dates has he gone on? What interactions has he had with women? Has he just had none? I feel like he's just had none in like years, and he just keeps making these like ridiculous assumptions. Because how does he come to these conclusions? It just makes no sense. Oh, Peloton ad.
Great way to start it off, baby. Front back, front back.
Peloton, come on.
It's wild.
It's wild.
It's absolutely wild. We could, bro.
Old headphones falling out.
I don't even want to hear, oh, it's both ways. Don't even give me that shit. We could literally let women be women and go crazy right in front of us and everything else.
What?
Like, quite literally.
What did that mean? Go crazy?
I can have women around me and act maybe not how they should. They can go a little bit crazy. I don't judge. You can be a woman around me. I'm not going to judge you for being a woman.
What?
They're judging us.
What is happening with me the last like week where I click on a video and people are saying the craziest stuff? Like I clicked on a random Amaranth stream for the second time in my life, and she was telling this 18-year-old he's a loser because he doesn't have a business. Because he's not like her, where she's been thinking from like 8 years old about what kind of... She had 10 different careers she wanted to do at 8 years old. She thought about how these different careers would be. It was hyper focused on money in her childhood to a disturbing level. Yet she tells this guy who isn't that way that he's a loser. And that he has bad parents, that his mom's dumb. It's like, Amaranth, you sound like you have the most psycho parents on the planet who instilled in you to care about nothing but money, which is probably why you're not close with your family and you seem like you don't have any actual genuine friends. And all you do is work all day and stream all day. Now, this guy, wow. Women can be women around me and I'm fine with it. They can be crazy. Like, that's what being a woman is. It's just being crazy. They can be crazy. That's what being a woman is. They're allowed to be a woman in front of me. I'm okay with it. Which, again, is just them being crazy. Nothing else. That's what it is to be a woman. To act like a woman. A woman in her general natural state is just pure craziness. And I'm okay with that.
For being men. They don't like us no more being men. They don't. I swear, bro. They don't trust it. Like, y'all's brainwashed.
They're brainwashed. Women are brainwashed. What? Like, what is he? I hope he continues to make a point as to how they're brainwashed. And what issues are they presenting him with? What is he talking about? He's saying that he overlooks their issues, which is them existing day to day, just being normal, which to him is them being a crazy person. And he's fine with it. And that's like the ultimate thing. So they should be fine with whatever issue they have with him. But what are the issues that they have with him? I'm very curious. Because it sounds like he gets a lot of feedback from women. But he just doesn't he's just rejecting it. He's just saying that they're brainwashed and they shouldn't care about what they care about. But what is it that they care about? He's not specifying. So I feel like hopefully it's not something super dark. It's just like basic things where it's like, dude, this guy is probably the most like controlling, obsessive, horrible partner you could ever imagine, where he's like, you need to behave like this and this and this. Like this guy probably just binge watches Fresh and Fit and just like, he probably has a shrine to Fresh and Fit that he like gets naked and like rubs oil on himself just thinking about Fresh and Fit and like looking at their poster, and then just thinks about how he's gonna like make even worse points than they make. Like, because I'm not understanding this even a little bit. What complaints is he receiving from women that are so severe?
It's so stupid. This shit's so stupid. Life is going by, bro. Life is going by.
Yeah, which is why you should stop being a jackass and should maybe take the complaints that women present to you as actually serious, and stop seeing yourself as some kind of saint who's so generous as to allow a woman to exist in her natural state of craziness for who knows how long. Like, I don't even know what he's getting at. Like, oh, sometimes I let women exist in their natural state of being crazy. I let them be women. It's okay. You can be a woman sometimes. It's like, I don't know if he said sometimes. It's just so insane. It's hard to like really interpret what he's talking about because it is just out to lunch entirely.
They're always going to want to make it right when it's too fucking late. How many of y'all have dealt with some females and they have come back, they have tried to start to make it right, and it was just too late? We don't want them no more.
I feel like this has never happened to this guy. Not once.
They're too old now.
Too old?
They've done too much shit.
Too old? Like, literally, what this guy has complained about, this guy with wine behind him has complained about, is women being glued to their phone. And I feel like he's talking about like 18-year-old women, if not younger. And then he throws out, oh, you're too old. Like, what? I feel like he's probably talking about like 20-year-old women. He like that statement of, oh, you're too old. He's probably referring to women who are like 4 or 5 years younger than him.
They went too crazy. Like, we just don't feel the same about them.
I mean, that's a bold assumption to make, but is like what he's saying is so incredibly creepy that it's a bold assumption, and I'm not saying that this guy is that way. I'm just saying what it seems like based off what he's saying. Now, I don't know anything. Like, I don't want to make accusations about somebody because I hate when people do that, but it's my interpretation. I could be very wrong. Not saying anything.
We can't help that. We wanted to do it when it should have been done. Y'all didn't. It's this crazy world, bro. Everyone's just fucked. They got dead ass. It's so stupid. Even most of the guys are, and the guys who are doing it right, you're just gonna be feared. You're gonna get a little bit of somewhere with girls that you want, and man, you're gonna have to get extremely lucky, as I am. Like, we're gonna have to get lucky, and that's what I intended doing, is getting lucky that one time.
He intends on getting lucky one time. That's what I'm gonna have to do, is get lucky one time. Ugh.
But how many times was I in these talking stages over the years, bro, and you get somewhere and they just can't do it?
Well, I don't know. Please tell me how many times you've been in the talking stage. What is, like, feel like his interpretation of the talking stage is probably wildly different than most people's idea of the talking stage. So I would love for him to elaborate on like anything, because I feel like the reality is probably so much weirder than what somebody would naturally conclude that it would be. And he keeps getting to this talking stage and then blowing it. I would love to know how. I gotta like rewind it a little bit.
Man, you're gonna have to get extremely lucky, as I am. Like, we're gonna have to get lucky, and that's what I intend in doing, is getting lucky that one time. But how many times was I in these talking stages over the years, bro, and you get somewhere and they just can't do it.
Like, what does he mean by get somewhere? What is it? I don't know what he means by talking stage, because I feel like it's got to be different than what I'm thinking. But what does he mean by like getting anywhere? Because if you're in the talking stage, then you haven't gotten anywhere. I get the impression that he means is that he talks to women, like he's in the like flirtatious arena, or he finally gets a response on his Plenty of Fish account, and it leads nowhere basically immediately because he doesn't have like a personality. He tries to like talk about the dumbest of things and can't even hold a conversation on the like weirdo stuff that he brings up. I'm assuming. Let's just see what he has to say. See where
Out
he's
of
going.
fear. Because y'all don't know what you're doing. And a year passes and it's like, they want you, and it's just like, I lost interest. That ship has sailed. What do you expect? Like, you're gonna have to do some shit to make it right, but they're too to do that. It's not us that has to make it right. You're gonna have to come back with an explanation if you want to make shit right.
Yeah, women.
It's not me.
You got to make things right.
I tried. I invested months, actually. I tried.
Wait, he's in the talking stage for months? Is he talking to women who, like, does he have the range on his Plenty of Fish? Like, whatever the maximum is, hundreds of miles. And he's talking to, like, these accounts that are just there to, like, promote their Instagram.
Even with my new partnership with Knockaround, I'm still the same old Joel Damon. I enjoy the simple pleasures of life.
Sorry, Joel Damon. I'm just not interested.
Women today as well, they just love to try to turn you into something you're not. Because they're power hungry. They have to control the situation.
What?
Like, do they not realize, men, that's what we're here for, is to control everything? We control the world. We run this world. We could literally clean the world.
We could clean
We
the
could take
world.
over the world. We pretty much do.
No idea what he's
Why
talking
do women feel the need to butt in and try to be us? And then hate on us because they can't be us? Like, it's just messing everything up. It's not us that's messing everything up. It is not. These are the facts. I can't speak anything else but the facts. I know this shit like the back of my hand, bro. Everything exposes itself over time. Like I said, I'm only understanding more and more and more and more and more as literally every day goes by with every female that I deal with. And
I feel like he's actually understanding less and less as time goes on. Like, he's just getting deeper into this weird, like, cesspool, this delusion. This is bizarre.
and it falls through, it makes me understand even more of what is actually happening in this world and how delusional they actually are. They are. They don't know what they're doing, bro. They don't. At all. They're ruining the best things right in front of your eyes.
What are they ruining? Like, they're ruining they're ruining themselves dating an incredibly boring man. a boring, creepy guy. They've ruined it. The only thing they're ruining is his ability to exist in pure delusion. Which is, he doesn't understand that it's probably good that they're ruining that. He'll never understand that it's good that they're ruining that. Or that's even a bad thing. Really, really, really weird.
They don't even know it. And they're going to complain later on. Like, that is what's happening. We are doing all we can, plus more. 40 times more than we ever used to. This shit used to not be a problem. It's a...
Of course he's going to go there. Of course, that's the way it's going, right? Where it's, oh, things used to be so much better in the past. If we were just in the past, you know, oh man, I would be scoring. It would be easy. Life would be so easy. Everyone had it so easy in the past. It was so simple. Just women had to do whatever men said. Why do people like this exist? Why do they have just zero self-awareness? How do they have zero self-awareness? How does this happen to somebody? How do you end up like this guy?
Problem today. And then we get blamed for what's going on. It's not even us. It's not even us. Here we are. What are you going to do? We're right here. Okay, now. What are you going to do? You're going to play your games. Shit's going to get somewhere and it's going to fall off because you can't do it. It's not us. It's y'all. Y'all can't even take a little itsy bitsy bit of a risk. You can't.
Wait, what? First of all, don't ever group me and men in general with this guy. This guy sees himself as like this everyman, this really great guy. Like, he clearly sees himself as better than the average guy. And he is like several rungs below the average man. And to, like, I gotta replay that. He's telling women to take a risk? Like, what? Like, oh, you guys can't even take a tiny risk. What risk? What is he talking about? There's women, most women are straight, just like most men are straight. There's constantly women all the time starting new relationships with guys. All of the time. Yeah, they don't want to risk being in a relationship with this obsessive creep who makes these incredibly creepy videos. There's no woman on the planet who could watch this man's videos and ever be in a relationship with him. How embarrassing would it be? Even if a woman watched one of his videos and was just bored out of her mind, which she would be, right? She would be like, his content is nearly unwatchable because he never makes any actual points. This one's probably the most entertaining one I've seen because it's so bizarre. Like, he just told women, like, you need to take risks. Take risks and date me. I know I'm really intense and creepy, but, you know, I hate women, but I will let you be in your natural state of insanity for, you know, on rare occasion. I'll play the video.
Can't even do that. Too scared. Too insecure. Oh, I just feel so powerless around this guy. Yeah, you're going to feel powerless. Not powerless, but you're going to feel less powerful than a man that's got it all together. What do you expect? He's a fucking man. You're a woman. Women don't compete with men. Look at sports. Do they? No, they don't. We are us. Y'all is you. We need y'all to start acting who you are. Not like something you're not. Not trying to compete with us. Not trying to go against us.
Yeah, women. You need to understand that you are absolutely inferior to men. And you need to start acting like it. Oh my God. This guy's head is so far up his butt. Like, even if a woman tried to say she dates him. She tries to watch one of his videos. She can't get through it because it's so unbelievably boring. Someone that she knows, right? Someone in her family or one of her friends would watch this guy's video and realize this guy's a lunatic and be like, you can't be with this like lolcow loser, creepy, intense, red pill cuck. That's what this guy is he's an omega cuck. I mean, just look at him. Just look at him. This guy is like literally said earlier in the video that his like dream is to one day get lucky. He's telling women, you need to take a risk. You need to be able to take a risk and be with my like creepy beta energy. It's like, dude. Like, my God. Like, look at him. He's in his parents' house. Who knows how old he is? He's wearing an Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. Like, how old is this guy? You know who wears Abercrombie and Fitch clothing? Teenagers. That's what teenagers do. They like, for some reason they think it's cool. It's not. Like, adults don't wear this stuff, man. I feel like his entire personality revolves around probably trying to like attract like 16-year-old girls. Like, what is happening?
Not hating on us, appreciate us, but you can't do it. It's stupid. This shit is stupid.
Yeah, women, you're stupid. That's the point he's getting at, is that women are stupid. That's what he wants them to believe. That's clearly what he thinks. He's telling women that they're stupid because they're not understanding that they're inferior to men and that they're not willing to take any risks and just accept anything that he says. And if they so much as complain about any little tiny thing that a man ever does, they're just like an idiot who's unwilling to take a risk. What is going on in this guy's life? Like, what dating experiences has this guy had that's led him to these conclusions? He's just like never had a positive reaction with the woman, which I don't know how he could contribute that, how he would place all of the blame for that solely on women. Like, I don't know how you could exist and see that millions of people in your own country, millions of men, have positive responses with women, and you specifically don't, but somehow it's not your fault. Wow.
It's utterly ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, women, you're absolutely embarrassing. You haven't accepted your inferiority, and you're not just blindly okay with whatever a man does. You're an embarrassment. Like, wow. Like, this guy, I thought maybe he was a joke character before, but you can kind of tell that he's being real here. I thought this had to be a meme. This had to be this guy going over the top with it, being ridiculous, playing a character. But no, I can kind of tell that he's being genuine. And this guy's dream of one day getting lucky, it might not happen for another 20 years, buddy. And it would take you seriously changing your mindset. So keep having fun tugging it to your fresh and fit poster, buds.
And then y'all cry later on because you no longer qualify for a man that you probably should have. Because you waited too long. Because you couldn't pull the trigger. And I'm sure you...
What is he, like... Is this guy homeschooled? Like, does he... What is he talking about? If anything, I feel like women are just as much as men blindly jump into relationships that they aren't, like, prepared for, or they haven't thought out how it's going to shake out. I don't know. I'm sure in his videos, he must have like mentioned this at some point. Like, oh, like women go for the bad boys. That's another one of these like weirdo incel arguments that these guys put out there. So he must have at some point said like, oh, well, you're going for the wrong men. You're going for these bad boys. I guarantee you he must have said that at some point. So it's like, how do both exist? Where you can say on one hand that women carelessly jump into relationships, but then you're also saying that they don't. How does he not see that it's entirely about him? He's just butthurt that women aren't jumping into relationships with him, giving no credibility to the fact that he's a total weirdo.
Had many opportunities, but you couldn't pull the trigger. It's going to take one female to get it right. She's going to get an amazing man, and a bunch of females on Earth is going to be jealous of that relationship, of that situation.
No.
I tend not being the male.
No. My God, no. No woman on the planet is going to be jealous of you, dude. Of a woman being in a relationship with you. Never. What would happen would be other women would tell a woman that's in a relationship with you, get out of that relationship. This guy's a freaking psycho and a weirdo and a creep, and you're a total embarrassment for dating this man. You are one of the biggest weirdos on YouTube. I know you can't see it, but it is a fact, dude. My God, your perspective is so detached from reality that it is a little scary. You need serious help. This is a giant yikes.
That's in that relationship and situation. And so many women that I have given chances to over the years, over the last decade, are going to look at that. And they're going to cry themselves to sleep at night. And
They're going to cry themselves to sleep at night. They're going to cry themselves to sleep at night. I guarantee you, any woman who has gone on a date with this guy, I feel like he's never been in a relationship, but maybe he has. No woman would date this guy for longer than 2 weeks. But I guarantee you, if they ever were to communicate to each other, they would laugh and talk about how incredibly, insanely creepy you are. And like, wow, how can somebody exist as this guy exists? It blows my mind. I've like never dealt with any guy. Like, I know a lot of men. None are this delusional.
I feel one bit sorry for them because I gave you many chances.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you did, dude. I'm sure you like cried and begged and said like, please date me, please date me, please date me, please give me a shot. I'm a nice guy. You've probably done that many times. And that's you giving them a chance. Right? He said it himself that he dreams of one day of getting lucky. Yeah, dude. Like, do you think people can't read between the lines? I feel like he himself doesn't understand what he's even truly saying there. And what he's saying is that he's incredibly desperate. He would love to have ended up in a relationship with any of these women that he's ever pursued and talked to. And you know what? They don't want to be with you. They're embarrassed that they were ever even talking to you.
I even allowed you to play games multiple times and I still stuck around. And now, look what's happening. But y'all don't want to own up to that either.
What's happening, dude? Like, what do you mean, look at what's happening? What is it? Like, I get so confused with idiots. I just never know what they're actually talking about at all. Because now look at what's happening. Like, what's happening? You've become more of a creep and a loser? Okay.
I want to own up to a thing. Because y'all is just delusional and too fucking emotional. That's why you should be beside a man to begin with, because you're too emotional. Oh, I'm spitting today. Not everybody's gonna like this, but I don't care. I never care if you like what I can say. I don't care if you like it. Oh, please say something to make me feel good.
I mean, what he's stating there is absolutely true. He doesn't care what women think, how they feel, how they might feel in a relationship. He doesn't care. Anything you have to say, he does not care. He's right about everything. You need to shut up because you're inferior. You are a woman. You need to know your place. You need to act like you're inferior. You need to understand it, act like it, and listen to what he says. That's what he's telling women here. And he wonders why he's so lonely. This guy is a psycho.
But I'm going to tell you the truth. That's what I do on my channel. I'm here to tell you the truth so you can wake up. I'm here to actually make your life great again. I'm not here to just hold your hand and pet your little paw.
Your life's nothing without this guy, by the way. You might not have known that, but actually your life is nothing without him. It's so weird when these guys exist in these like multiple different contradictory headspaces. It's as though he thinks women are like knocking down the door to be in a relationship with them, but at the same time he's so lonely and desperate and can't get a relationship. How do both exist in this guy's head?
Oh my God, it's going to be okay. No. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear before you ruin your own life. Wake up.
So yeah, that is one of the creepiest content creators, TerryJoelJunior. I'll probably react to more of his content because it's bizarre, insane, like levels of delusion that are impossible to fake. Prior to watching that, I'd been thinking, now I've only watched maybe like 4 of this guy's videos total, but I was thinking this guy has to be a troll. He has to be playing a character. The way that he talks so slowly and never really gets to making a valid point about anything ever. He repeats himself and never has any kind of like self-awareness. I'm like, this guy's playing a character. He's playing an exaggeration of like one of these red-pilled guys. It's a show, it's an act. It's acting. No, that's cemented it for me. This isn't an act. This guy actually believes this. He would have to be like one of the greatest actors around to actually be pulling that off. So, yeah. This guy is actually a perfect example of what Denmo was talking about. Because this guy, I'm sure he listens to Fresh and Fit in the whatever podcast, and he can never read between the lines and like suss out what is actual like valid information and what he should actually be doing. He's not actually doing one thing to like better himself and to understand women and to do what he needs to do to be a better partner to a woman or a potential partner. He's not doing anything to improve himself. He doesn't understand that he is like on one of the lowest tier of men around. Like he's actually very low value. I'll use terms that he uses. He's a very low value male and he doesn't get that at all. And he should definitely heavily reflect. Like he acts as though women should be like congratulate, like over the moon about dating him, and that if they were to date and break up, that they're literally, he said, crying themselves to sleep at night. Like this guy actually believes that when he's making these creepy videos trash talking women, telling women that they're inferior and they're morons for not dating him. How, like, does he not at all? He must not understand even a tiny bit how women would interpret viewing that video. Weird. Super weird. Like, he'll sit there and talk down to women, tell them they're inferior and they're morons for not listening to him. Insane. Completely insane. I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he totally changes his life around, because wow.